Paul, you said it the other day, a game like this at a stage of a season like this, with where we are, it doesn't get any better.
That's a brilliant game. I'm quite sure they'll be a little bit disappointed that it's probably a bit too much for them to expect to get in the playoffs now. Um, Although they've still had a reasonable season, a good season. We've got so much to play for, and in terms of a local derby, in terms of the league position, in terms of the fact there's only 3 to go, it's a fantastic position to be in a game that we can all really look forward to.
These things you have to relish, don't you?
Oh, without a doubt you do, yeah. I mean, it's a great position to be in. You know, we've had a really good season. I mean, I look at the crowds that are coming in. I wander around town at times, and there's so much positive feeling about the football club, and that's what I wanted. That's what I want to keep. Now I know that will keep and get stronger with winning games of football and achieving something, but we've given ourselves a real good chance, and I want us to stay really positive. Whatever happens, this has been a big step up from last season.
Stockport County fans are talking about the fact there was noise from 3 sides of the stadium through that second half, and how magnificent that was from the home fans. That's what this lot can give us.
Yeah, they can give us so much, and credit to the Stockport fans. I thought they made it a real good atmosphere as well. I thought right inside the ground, I thought was a real positive. There was a real positive feeling, and I get it that everybody's getting nervous. Everybody thinks we're going to miss out on something. We can't do anything about that. You know, we have 3 really good games to look forward to. Other teams have all got each other to play. Barrow have got Stevenage to play, so they could actually still play a big part in that end. They've got Hartlepool to play, they can still play a part in the other end of the table. And that's the beauty of English football, is that every team does their max. It's not a case of, our season's over, we'll just throw the towel in and we'll get ready with our flip-flops. There's a proper professionalism about the way English teams go about it. We've got to do our job properly. If we do that in our 3 games, we'll take whatever comes. You know, I had figures in my mind of what at the start of the season, going off the averages from the last 5 years, and my graph says 89 points to be champions. That might actually be right. Could be, depending how Orient react now that they're already promoted. I think I had 82 points for automatic. That may be right. That might be okay. I did have 73 for playoffs. I'm maybe a little bit short on that. And I had 42 to avoid relegation. That could be right as well. So it's just the playoff ones that I've maybe a bit underscored it. But we're in a position where we've got 72 points. We're sitting in a good position. I understand that other teams have games in hand. I can't do anything about that. We have to just win our game. We win on Saturday, it sets us up for the next one. We beat Salford, it sets us up for the last one. And then we'll just have to wait and see what comes.
It might have seemed a random question that I just asked, but the point being that we could have sold out the Saturday allocation probably 4 or 5 times over. They're going to be, the ones that are lucky enough to have got the ticket are really going to be behind us.
Because of what's gone on, Saturday's a golden ticket. If you've got one, you're in a really good position. And I remember last year, you know, when we were scrapping for our lives at the bottom of the table, we had unbelievable support there, and I think about the scenes at the end when we won the game. We need that again. We need to get back to it. We had a brilliant crowd here where both sets of supporters made it a good atmosphere. I hope we get a good atmosphere. I hope there's a lot of common sense, more common sense than there was in the Papa John's Trophy game, where it was spoiled by, I've got to say, one idiot and some silly things that were going on. I really hope they all come and behave themselves. The good thing about Tuesday night with Stockport, and listen, I don't like Stockport. That's just my own personal feelings. I don't like them because of the way I was treated there. But I will give them the credit. I thought as a football club, and that's the staff, the players and the supporters, I thought they were magnificent on Tuesday night. I thought every single one of them. That's coming from somebody who's got real negative feelings about the place. I thought they and us made Carlisle United and Rutton Park a proper English football ground with a fantastic game of football that if you were a neutral you'd have really enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the first half, I did enjoy the second half, and we want that again on Saturday at Barrow. And let's put on a performance everybody, supporters, fans, the players, staff, has put on a performance that makes Cumbria really proud of two good teams.
Sadly, it is a negative that we do have to touch on, and I'm sorry that I have to expand on this, but when there's the pitch incursion, when there's the flare, if it comes from our end, it's the club that gets it. We're asking people just to get there, be vibrant, but do it properly.
Oh, without a doubt. We get punished for it. So, when we're playing at home and we get a good crowd and we get extra income coming in from that big crowd, people come on the pitch, people throw flares. We're basically just signing a cheque to hand over to the Football League for getting punishments. So if you're going to come in and you're going to support us, come and support us and let that extra funds, that extra revenue come to us to help us. So we don't want any problems on Saturday, that's for sure. We don't want any problems in any of our games, because I think we've got a really good bunch of supporters here. I think we've got an intelligent bunch of supporters. So if you see somebody who's going to do something which is a bit idiotic, let's police it ourselves. Let's do something about it. And I think we're sensible enough to do that. And I hope if anybody is going to be daft enough to try something at the weekend, I hope the rest of them police it and nip it in the bud. No, don't have to make a big drama about it, but we have it here with players. A player might think about doing something. You have to say, you think that's the right thing to do? Is that going to help you? Is that going to help the football club? So it's just normal, but let's make it a proper day on Saturday. Let's have a good atmosphere. Let's have a good crowd, a sensible crowd. Let's have a good game of football. I'm being obviously very, very biased. Let's have a result in our favour.
Pete Wild, Barrow, he's got them playing really well at home. They had to beat at Olga Street. Do we change because of that?
It's just the next game for us. We will go about it and we're going to win the game. Simple as that. It's like I did on Tuesday. I wanted to win it. It's up to me and the staff with the input from them to try and pick a team that's going to go out and win. We have to use the second half momentum that we got there against Stockport to take into Saturday, to take into the next one, because although we are unbeaten in 4 games, we need more points, we need wins, so we have to go for it. It won't be an absolute gung-ho, take your football brain out and just go and run around like headless chickens. We will go with a plan. I know that they're a good side. I know they've got good individuals, good footballers. I also know that we are as well. When we do it properly, we're a good side and we can cause teams problems, and that's what we have to do this weekend.
You've been really consistent with the team selection and the team shape. The team shape I meant to say that's got us to where we are in the table. Does Tuesday night second half give you a little bit of food for thought there?
There's been many times this season where it's given me food for thought, and people have to understand I don't just turn up on a Saturday and stick the names in a tombola drum and pick 11 out. There's a thought process goes into it. Going into last weekend's game against Northampton, I felt it was an opportunity to go front foot and try and be really positive and go and win the game, and that's why I went with Jordan Gibson as an attacking wing back. We didn't do enough to go and win it, and that's not Jordan Gibson, that's as a team. Tuesday night I always knew that Ben Barkley wasn't going to play, so it was always going to be a case of Corey coming into it. I also had it in my mind that there was every possibility we were going to have to go to a back 4, and that's why Joel Senior was going to play. So although I prepare for a game with a shape and a team and whatever, I always have what if scenarios as well. So what if this happens? What if we're a goal down and we need to go for the game? What if we're a goal up and we need to try and contain it? What if we get a man sent off? I have all of these what if scenarios in my head because that's how I prepare for games. So we're going to this game to win it. I will have a what if scenario depending on what's going to go on, and everybody's just going to have to wait and see what my scenario is to start it.
Barkley, Senior, Whelan, some of the names you've mentioned. Taylor Charters, like you said, is chomping at the bit. Again, there's dilemmas there.
Yeah, there are. That's just in defence. Got Edmondson, Garner, Amari Patrick, who didn't start the other night, chomping at the bit. Everybody wants to play. Jaden Harris wants to play in midfield. Dev wants to play in midfield. So we're getting a stronger squad now. We're probably going to take a group of 20 or 21, I think. I've been asked today. We've got the lads who were not involved because of injuries. Toby, Morgan, Brennan Dickinson, Jack Ellis, they all want to come to the game, they all want to be a part of it. So we've got a group who all want to be involved in this and who all want to try and achieve something. And lads who can't be out on the grass or can't be considered for selection, they still have a part to play to make sure we keep this positive environment.
Callum got that knock when he clashed with Ryan. Yeah, anything on Cal? Is he okay?
No, he's fine. It's just affected his looks, but I don't think he's worried about that. No, he took a whack. It was just one of them accidental things, but he's trained fine. There's no issues there. There's no issues from anybody from the other night, and hopefully that'll be the case still on Saturday afternoon as well.
And we answered a lot of questions, didn't we, second half? Which, if there was any doubts about, can they handling it? That shows they're handling it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, strange how it works out, because my final message to them when we go through the game plan and everything before on my final meeting, I always give 3 messages, and my final message was them, go and send a message out, but to ourselves. That was what we needed to do, because little doubts had started to creep in terms of supporters doubting it, players doubting it. I didn't. That is the honest truth. I don't doubt it. I think we have more than enough ability in that group to be able to go and achieve something. So I wanted them to go and send a message to themselves and to supporters, and they certainly did that in the way they went about it. I would probably say a draw was a fair result on the whole balance of the game. I think it was just the nature of that equaliser that sickened me a little bit, because I felt as though we could have dealt with it a little bit better. But the truth of it is, it's gone now. We've took a point. It's another point closer to where we want to go, and we've got to go and do it properly in this next one.
And 9 to play for with it all so tight. That is exactly the message, isn't it? Let's go and just do it properly.
Oh no, that's all you can do. You can only do your own job, and you look at the other games that are coming up, and there's some tough fixtures for all the teams in and around it, and everybody gets a little bit nervy. There are nerves, because that's what human people do. So there are going to be nerves, but that's what football's about. When you're playing football, you want to be nervous. I think you have to be nervous. You've got to channel it right. And I think if the day comes where you're not nervous, you need to get out of it. You shouldn't be involved, because it's a brilliant situation to be in. Really good game to look forward to. And I know that everybody who's fit will be doing everything they possibly can to be involved in it, and to make sure they're involved in the next one as well.